Wonderful to be with you. Thank you for joining us here in the Court of Public Opinion. Ladies and gentlemen, we're in the garage. Peter Clayton is here behind the camera. I'm Jeremy Cordeaux. It's a Wednesday, middle of the week, and I hope it's going to be a great day for you, wherever you're going, whatever you're doing. I must tell you a little story. You've got to be really careful of scams these days. You must treat everything that comes in as a scam. I had a friend who sent me, in good faith, and people send me all sorts of things all the time, tips and stories and leads and things, and I'm very grateful. But this was pretty amazing. I've known Dick Smith for a long time, probably 50, 60 years. I know him. And this was, now I don't know whether it was Snapchat or Instagram, but there was Dick Smith. Very recognizable. I know his voice, I know his face. There was Dick. And as I watched this pitch, I suppose you'd call it, it was about, you know, he sort of talked about, I am a rich man. I know the value of money. And I want you to have the same experience. I pricked up my ears. I thought, well, right. Well, Dick Smith wouldn't be involved in anything shady or funny. It was a method. It was an algorithm. You didn't have to buy it. All you had to do was to install it in your telephone. And you had a kind of an account. You had to put in $350, $350 to $500. See, you might have even received the same thing that I'm talking about. If you did, or something similar, call me on Friday round the dining room table.
I did.
Have you?
Yeah.
Have you got the Dick Smith one?
No, I didn't keep it.
I would love to show it because it is Dick Smith. It is absolutely Dick Smith. Well, that's what I thought. You install the algorithm, you put $350 to $500 in. The algorithm costs you nothing. You will make $1,000 a day for doing nothing. Anyway, I went through the whole thing and I listened to it. He was very persuasive and charming and authoritative. And in the end, I got to the end of it and I said, there's something wrong. There's got to be something wrong. I'll ring Dick, which is what I did. God, he has been trying to shut this thing down forever. It's an AI thing. They have taken his voice, they have taken his image, and they are using him to raise money. So what you do, you put your $350 or your $500 in. There's no fee for the algorithm, but you'll never see the money again. And you get enough people putting $350 into your bank account, which you'll never see again, and there'll be no $1,000 a day. What a money spinner. I mean, this is what we're up against. Now, he has been desperately trying to find the people behind it, stop them from doing this. And I said, I'll put this on my show. And he said, look, please do. You see something like that, or they could find any celebrity or personality to do the same thing. Don't believe it. Check it. Double check it, triple check it.
I've had several. David Koch was one.
David Koch was another one.
Yeah. And I forget the others. There's been 3 or 4 that I've had.
Oh, it's bizarre, it's obscene, and we have to do something about it. This AI thing is promoted as being a great boon to society, to humankind, to civilization. Well, like everything, there is a good side and a bad side, a plus and a minus. These are the minuses I'm telling you about. Just be very careful. Speaking of AI, they now have vending machines in the United States. Pete, have you heard this? Vending machines that sell ammunition.
No, haven't heard.
True, bullets. You go up to the vending machine and get a box of 45s. It's a very strange world we live in, isn't it? I don't think it's progress, ladies and gentlemen. I saw this and I thought, it's a clever line. Made me think. England has gone from running or ruling the world to the third world because of immigration. It sort of went on. People leave the third world but take it with them everywhere they go. Harsh. I thought, harsh. The greatest nation in the world, America, was built on the words that you can read on the Statue of Liberty. Send me your huddled masses. You know the words. Immigration worked for them and us. It's surely a question of controlled, not rampant immigration. Carefully monitored, selective immigration. You choose who is going to come into your house. That's perfectly reasonable. Then I got to thinking, the UK has a particular problem. People will travel through many different countries to get to the UK. Now, if these people were true refugees, they would take refuge in the first country they came to. But no. These people are, I believe, attracted to the UK because of the welfare state. You know, the national health, the NHS, which is on its knees. The sugar on the table. England has never attempted to remove the sugar on the table. Oh, I think the last Conservative government tried. They were going to send people to Rwanda. I don't know how that would work. The British election, a seismic shift in English politics. There are some fantastic lessons to be learned here. Don't take your constituents for granted. Don't argue amongst yourselves. A house divided cannot stand. How old is that? Biblical. Understand that government cannot do what people should do for themselves. After all, I mean, even if you're socialists run out of other people's money sooner or later. It happens. Don't overpromise and underdeliver is another one. And please, just get out of the way. Get out of the way. Bureaucracy and red tape and crap. Will the Tories learn, or will Nigel ultimately take their place? I guess the simplistic question is, did Labour win or did the Conservatives lose? I think it was the latter. Anyway, we'll see. Dating apps. Pete, have you ever used a dating app?
No, I have been tempted, but no.
Dating apps. You should listen, 3 out of 4 people who have used them report violence and offensive behaviour. Tell me on Friday if you think those apps work or are good or how you handle them, you can ring me at the dining room table. I'd love you to do that. I'm sure they can work, but it must be a little bit like playing a romantic version of Russian roulette, which I don't think people should do. Our podcast, or our posting on Facebook and our podcast, and indeed our program around the dining room table on a Friday morning 9 till 12, jeremycordeaux.com, brought to you with the best wishes of the Rising Sun Inn, which is on Bridge Street at Kensington. Beautiful old world pub with old world charm, and the accolade of being named the best pub or inn in South Australia. And these people as well, I'm very proud to have these two iconic people as sponsors of the show. And Jim Elder sent me another little reminder, which is, oh golly, what is it? 3 times a year for major exhibitions, and then there are a couple of minor exhibitions in between. But he's always looking for art, maybe something that you've got in the cellar or you've got hanging on the wall and you've never looked at it, could be worth a fortune. It might be interesting to find out, if you wanted to part with it. Elder Fine Art. Elder Fine Art Gallery, which is on Melbourne Street, North Adelaide. I'll just give you a phone number here. If you want to talk to Jim Elder or Helen, they'll tell you all about it. They'll give you an absolutely obligation-free appraisal of a painting or artwork that you might be tempted to sell if the price was right. Telephone number. If you ring 8267 2868. They have the most beautiful gallery on Melbourne Street in North Adelaide. It's a fantastic building, old Victorian style. It's, when I say it's style, because Jim built it himself. It's terrific, it really is. But anyway, to our sponsors, we thank you. The Australian Financial Review has reported that the federal government, I love this story, the federal government has approved $32.9 million in funding to keep Channel 10 on the air. Pete, do you believe it?
That's obscene.
Now keep in mind, Channel 10 is owned by Paramount, which in the United States, of course, owns Paramount Film Studios, huge television networks like CBS, Nickelodeon. They own MTV, they own the British broadcaster Channel 5, and as I say, Network 10 in Australia, and Paramount Plus as well. Now I wonder if they hadn't been pumping out all this left-wing crap, which is part of their problem, of course. That's why they're in the predicament they're in, of course. Anyway, like the Project, okay? Would this Labor government have given them $32.9 million taxpayer dollars? It's not like Channel 10 is supplying diversity of news or content. If people want left-wing crap, they can just... There's plenty of it on the ABC. Channel 10 doesn't particularly serve isolated or remote areas, which are generally poorly served. And apart from the Financial Review, I haven't seen a word about this story anywhere. Channel 10, in my opinion, has caused most of its own problems. Bad programming, bad programs, strange scheduling, well, quirky personalities. Why should the taxpayer give them a single cent? Talk to me on Friday about that, maybe. Mornington Peninsula, the council, the municipal council, has voted to install an Aboriginal voice to council without consulting the community. This is after the whole voice thing was soundly defeated at a public referendum. Warren Mundine, who was with me last Friday, reckons the country is being stolen, little by little, every day, from Australians, black and white, right out from underneath our noses, without authority. Now, if you missed Friday's show, it was a good one. I love having Warren Mundine on the program. He's a fantastic guest. You know, he's got 12 children. Yeah, true. The Muslim vote. I don't know if you know anything about him. I don't. The Muslim vote met with Senator Fatima Payman. Now, she leaves Labor, as you would know by now, and clearly will start her own political party. And with her, at her side, will be the preference whisperer, who is a strange character in himself. I'd love to get him on the show. The preference whisperer. Apparently you can get in there with, 1% of the vote or something because of preferences. Anyway, it promises to be an interesting time, particularly in those Western Sydney Labor seats with big Muslim population. I don't know. We'll watch it with interest. Thursday, last week, a serious breach of security at Parliament House in Canberra. Pro-Palestine demonstrators climb on the roof at the front of the building, and I would think at considerable risk to themselves. You know the crap. From the rivers to the sea, Palestine will be free, whatever the hell that means. I suspect it means they want to destroy Israel. That's anti-Semitic, pure and simple. This crowd, who represent a fraction of the 800,000 Muslims in Australia, that's not many, 800,000 Muslims in Australia, some of whom, I guess, care about Gaza. Others couldn't care less about Gaza. Who knows? But isn't it funny? The other group of demonstrators that you see from time to time, the Gays for Gaza, they hold up traffic and demonstrate and whatnot. They support Palestine. I wonder if they realise, or anyone has told them, or if they've bothered to try and find out what the penalty for homosexuality in Gaza is. Listen, it's death. They put homosexuals to death. Gays for Gaza. I've no idea what's going on there. Anyway, like the Extinction Rebellion people, if they turn up again, leave them up there, turn off the cameras because that's what they want, that's what they're doing it for. No food, no water, no publicity. The freezing temperatures in Canberra will teach them a lesson, I would think. I would hope. Just leave them there. The Prime Minister doesn't want to go down the road of faith-based politics. You would have heard about that over the weekend, probably. But he is quite comfortable with bullshit-based politics, not faith-based politics. We've had religion in politics forever. It didn't damage social cohesion. I mean, we have the Lord's Prayer at the beginning of the day. The Christian Democrats. The Democratic Labour Party was staunchly Catholic. Staunchly Catholic. I think the Aboriginal Welcome to Country and smoking ceremony, they feature in the Australian Parliament. A practice which is both erroneous and contested. It has no authenticity and is divisive. I don't know what the Prime Minister's on about. We don't want faith-based politics. Very odd. Yet people will swear to God and swear before God. There is nothing wrong with that. When the election is held, some say next May, others say sometime later this year. But no doubt Albo will go when he thinks he has the best chance of winning, which is only reasonable. But it's going to boil down to, right now, thinking hard about these issues. You and me. If you are tired of endless, sky-high energy bills, electricity bills, gas bills, if you are sick of the inner city elites, academics and intellectuals, telling us how to live and what to think, if you want to clean up the Aboriginal industry, which is wasting billions of dollars and achieving nothing, if you want to stop the waste of trillions of dollars on this net zero rubbish, if you object to being coerced into buying deficient and problematic electric cars and being badgered about climate change, and basically if you've had enough of Albo and his rampant immigration and cost of living and housing policies, just vote him out. But think about it now. Think about it now. Are we out of time, Pete?
Pretty much.
I reckon. I'd love to talk, next time, let's talk about crazes. I'm fascinated by crazes. Have you ever thought about the number of crazes that have been around the place?
No.
You know, things like yo-yos and Cabbage Patch dolls, pet rocks.
No, I haven't given it a lot of thought. But
No, well, you wouldn't. But the point is, where do they come from? They can't just pop out of nowhere, and they stay around, make somebody a fortune, and then disappear. Rubik's Cube. Anyway, we'll do that. We'll do that later. I do want to... We're not out of battery, are we?
no.
Please no. Please, Lord, no. This is a faith-based program, by the way, in case you wondered. July 10, it is. Happy birthday if you're having a birthday. Happy wedding anniversary. Coca-Cola announces it will resume selling old formula Coke. 1985. Can you imagine this 12-year-old in the marketing department coming in and saying to the head of Coca-Cola, I know you're making billions of dollars selling Coke, but I think we need to change the formula. This happens in more companies than you and I could ever imagine. Sensible, middle-aged executives get told by some whippersnapper that there's a better way. Oh, lordy, lordy, lordy. Anyway, they go back to the original formula which worked and the new one didn't. All right. Lady Godiva rides naked on horseback through Coventry, according to legend, to force her husband, the Earl of Mercia, to lower taxes. Now, hang on, Pete. That seems like a very strange way to get your husband to lower taxes.
Well,
What? He's going to look out the window and see his naked wife on a horse, and he's going to say, I've got to take the taxes down. How does that work?
I just like to see it, that's all.
Oh, I'd like to see it too. But apparently if you went out there, as the legend goes, if you went out there and looked at Lady Godiva, you'd go blind.
A bit like looking at the sun. Yeah, okay.
I don't know. I just don't follow the logic of Lady Godiva, I'm sorry. Howard Hughes flies around the world in 91 hours. That was in 1938. Mel Blanc, I loved Mel Blanc, American radio comedian and voice actor, best known for his Looney Tunes and Merry Melodies cartoons, Bugs Bunny, Elmer Fudd, Porky Pig. What was the one about the rooster? He used to say,
Yes.
Who was that?
What was his name?
Silly boy, sharp as a bowling ball.
Yeah, he was great, but I can't think of his name.
He was my favourite. Silly boy, sharp as a bowling ball. Anyway, he died at 81 on this day in 1989. Boris Yeltsin sworn in as the first elected president of the Russian Federation in 1991. French intelligence agents blow up the Greenpeace boat Rainbow Warrior in Auckland Harbour. 1985, the original sketch of Winnie the Pooh's 100-Acre Wood by E.H. Shepard sells on this day for $430,000 in London. Record price for a book illustration. The year was 2018. City of Dublin is founded on the banks of the River Liffey in 988. It's one hell of an old city. Omar Sharif, Egyptian actor. Dr. Zhivago, Lawrence of Arabia. He dies at 83 on this day in 2015. He was also a chess master, wasn't he?
I don't know.
Was it chess or did he play cards? I'll have to look that up. The Battle of Britain begins as Nazi forces attack shipping convoys in the English Channel on this day in 1940. The Battle of Britain. Nikola Tesla. He was a Serbian-American physicist, electrical engineer and inventor who developed alternating current and Tesla coil. He was born in what is now called Croatia on this day in 1856. Tesla cars. And he died 1943. I think we'll leave it there. Yeah. Oh, one more maybe. John H. Hammond, American music producer, talent scout. I'd like to be a talent scout, Pete. I could make you a star. I could do that.
I wish you could.
Hang in there, kid. He was an activist as well. He discovered Billie Holiday, Teddy Wilson, Count Basie, Bob Dylan, and Bruce Springsteen. He dies on this day at the age of 76 in 1987. Wow. Thank you so much for being with us, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Jeremy Cordeaux. Peter Clayton and I will be back next week, and we'll be around the dining room table on Friday, jeremycordeaux.com, 9 to 12, live streaming, phone calls, guests. Oh, I'm trying to get Alan Jones. Alan Jones has got a few things on this week, but he's promised to, if he can rearrange his schedule, he's promised to come on the show on Friday. Anyway, we'll see you. This has been the Court of Public Opinion. Believe in yourself, and goodbye for now.